Ever notice how life's best stories don't happen in your living room? They happen on the open road, out on the water, or parked under the stars. At Progressive, they get that you want to focus on the experience, not worry about the what ifs. That's why they offer quality insurance designed for your ride, whether that's a boat, RV, or motorcycle. Adventure with confidence. Visit progressive.com and see how easy it is to protect your favorite way to get away. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in D.C. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Truckers aren't just moving goods. They're making sure bakers get their chocolate chips and hotels get their tiny soaps. But truckers can't do this if they're not on the road. That's why Progressive has over 360 heavy truck employees to help truckers stay on time and on track. Quote truck insurance today in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
When I was driving to Midlothian from Austin to see the town for myself, I knew my very first stop would be Creekside Church, the place where Missy was killed over a decade ago. I wanted to see where this brutal crime had taken place. Walk the halls just like Missy had the morning of April 18th, 2016. I drove up on a Saturday morning and went straight to Creekside.
Okay, I'm at the church, at Creekside.
You can hear the cars flying by. The church is practically on the highway, fully visible to every commuter driving down 287. I had reached out to the church's lead pastor, Clint Rhodes, via email in the weeks prior, but never got a response. I wanted to talk with him about Brandon's theory that Missy had walked in on a burglary. Wrong place, wrong time. When I arrived, the service had already started, so the halls were empty. Even though it was broad daylight and the whole congregation was just on the other side of the wall, I took a second to imagine Missy walking those same halls, not knowing what was waiting for her.
He was a miracle worker.
I grew up Catholic and didn't really go much aside from the yearly Christmas Eve Mass, but it looked like my best bet at talking with Clint was going to Sunday service.
The path of radical belief always ends in victory. It may be something that we experience here on earth that points to God's greatness and God's goodness, right? Where we're able to say, God be praised for what you've done in my life. And it points people to Jesus. It points people to the kingdom, which was the point of the miracles in the first place.
After the service, I waited patiently and watched Pastor Clint take his time speaking to anyone that stopped him, either because they needed advice or just wanted to share a life update with him. It was clear that this was a close-knit congregation. Everyone lingered, spent time catching up with each other. Finally, it was my turn.
Hi there, Clint Rhodes.
Hi, I'm Zoe.
Nice to meet you. It's the first time?
Yes, I saw you earlier.
Did you?
This week, like,
Hi, Clint. Good to meet you. I'm that journalist you've been dodging.
stop by because I was in the area. And I'm just
I appreciate that. I'm really not kidding. There you go for meeting Stephanie.
I figured you did.
Who would have thought that the lead pastor at a church would be busy on a Sunday? Luckily, Clint agreed to catch up with me over the phone later in the week. He'd been at Creekside for a little less than a year when Missy was killed. He saw the church before and after her death. I was most curious about the before. Were break-ins a regular occurrence? Is it something staff worried about?
No, not really. Just like any church, there's been stuff stolen off our property and things like that. But as far as a break-in, my understanding is no.
So what did Clint think of Brandon's burglary idea?
The timeline from when the perpetrator gained entry into the building to the time she was discovered, there was a long time. And so if it was a burglar, which I don't believe that it was, they were very slow. As you can see the footage of the person walking around, it appears that they are simply biding their time. They are simply waiting. They are simply breaking a few things here and there to bring up the question of the possibility of a burglary. They did not seem intent on getting anything, and certainly not intent on getting out on any certain timeline.
And the biggest hole in this theory.
There was nothing taken.
A line of thinking I've seen online in support of the idea that it was a burglary is that the perpetrator could have been looking for tithes. It was a Monday, after all. But Clint told me that that would have been a fruitless mission.
Those were removed from the building on the day of.
Was there anything else worth stealing that this person could have been on the hunt for?
Obviously, there's office equipment and things like that, but nothing really super high tech or anything that somebody would say, "Oh wow, that's a big gap for a burglar."
Talking with Clint strengthened the idea in my mind that this person was in fact on the hunt for Missy. I asked him what the lasting effect of this awful tragedy has been on Creekside.
Definitely a feeling of, are we safe here, and things like that. We did the best that we could to address those kinds of questions. In the weeks following, we made sure that there was some police presence and things like that at our services. And we do have our ongoing security team that is trained and things like that. But it felt like at that time we wanted to definitely make sure we had uniformed officers and marked cars and things like that. I think our church has really bounced back through the years really well. It's not front of mind all of the time. And that doesn't mean we're not mindful of it, because we certainly are. But, ultimately we still have a mission to do and what we feel like God has called us to do here in this area. And so our day in and day out is that we're trying to do those things.
While the Creekside community has found a bit of closure, the people in Missy's life continue to search for it. But is closure possible with so much out there still unexplained? Not just about Missy's killer, but Missy's personal life and relationships before that fateful morning. From Free Range Productions, this is The Unforgotten: Who Killed Missy Beavers? I'm Zoe Colkin. Episode 2, The Target List. Renee Rodden, who knew Missy, followed the Midlothian Police Department's investigation closely. She compared it to other cases she was familiar with.
I use this example all the time. Doug Carter in the Delphi murders, he got up on the podium and he was like, "We're coming for you. And we, this and this and this and this." I mean, they just talked and did their thing, like they really wanted to solve it. And Midlothian Police doesn't do that.
The first thing I noticed when researching this case was just how little information had been released by the police department. Here's Crystal, Renee's co-host on their podcast, True Crime Broads.
This has been the most silent murder case I've ever followed.
In the 10 years since the murder, they have never named a suspect and have officially cleared very few people, one of them being Brandon Beavers. As far as Brandon being the person under all that tactical gear, he had an airtight alibi that the police said checked out.
He flew to Biloxi. He was supposed to be getting on a charter boat to go to the Chandelier Islands for a fishing trip, but he never got on the boat because he got the call that Missy had been murdered.
But that doesn't mean the Facebook groups leave him alone.
There are people to this day in our group that will swear up and down that Brandon ordered this hit.
But despite the fact that Brandon was closed off with the press, with police, he was an open book.
He gave them everything. He was like, here's my bank, here's my computer, here's my house, knock yourself out.
No evidence has been released that suggests Brandon had anything to do with his wife's death, and the police seemingly crossed him off the list of worthwhile avenues. But for the first weeks following the investigation, they did not share what avenues they were choosing to go down. They were being secretive and purposefully vague. A search warrant dated on the 18th stated Missy was, quote, deceased from a head wound, and that the person in the video used an unknown instrument to cause the death. The medical examiner's office did complete an autopsy, but police did not release her cause of death. It's not in any documents I found, or any that were given to me through public records requests. This was sketchy to me. 10 years later and still no clear cause of death, no autopsy report. I mentioned it to Crystal and Renee, and they enlightened me.
I believe that the police kept that vague on purpose because it's puncture wounds to the head and chest. And we all jumped to the conclusion at first, okay, she was stabbed. No, wait a minute, it was a hammer. And come to find out, she was shot.
Wait, shot? Why would they keep this a secret?
I guess they were trying to do that thing, they try to withhold it so when they do find the real person, that they can basically prove that it was that person. Like maybe they would say something only that person would know. Like for instance, well, I shot 4 times. I'd be like, okay, well, that's the only person that knew she was shot 4 times. I'm just making that up. But at the end of the day, nobody is running around screaming they did it. So I don't really understand the reason for holdback.
Crystal told me they found this information out from the Murder Accountability Project, a nonprofit that tracks homicide data to try and identify potential serial killer clusters. It doesn't release names, but you can search homicides all across the country based on city, year, the victim's age, and gender. Crystal said it wasn't hard to find Missy's case.
There was a 45-year-old woman who was killed in Midlothian by handgun on April 18, 2016. Well, who else would that be?
I checked the site out myself, and sure enough, Crystal was right. For the only homicide to take place in Midlothian in 2016, the weapon listed was handgun, pistol, revolver, etc. But even though Crystal and Renee knew this information, they did not broadcast it. They were, and are, very mindful of the police's work and are wary of doing anything that could disturb the investigation.
We sat on the gunshot information for a long time because we didn't want to be the ones that broke that in case the police were using that as holdback evidence. So we kept our mouth shut a long time.
But eventually, the cat was out of the bag. Right around the 4th anniversary of the murder, Renee was listening to a local news broadcast that stopped her in her tracks.
It's been 4 years since fitness teacher Missy Beavers was discovered dead at the Creekside Church in Midlothian. There's still a mystery over who that was in the tactical gear, who pulled the trigger.
And everybody was like, holy cow, like that. I mean, we knew she was shot, but a lot of people didn't. And we were like, we did not tell that story. We didn't.
Now, Crystal and Renee were certainly not the only sleuths or journalists that had stumbled upon this information, but still, they did not want any bad blood with the cops. They wanted to believe they all had the same goal: get justice for Missy. But the more they dug, the less convinced they were that they all shared this common goal.
You know that feeling when you're just bloated and gassy and your gut health is just off? And maybe you've been dealing with it for so long, you don't even know how much better you could feel. That's why I recently started taking Physician's Choice 60 Billion Probiotic. It's one pill that I take every morning. And I love that it's not just one probiotic strain. It's actually 10 different strains, all in one simple daily capsule. It survives stomach acid and it actually gets where it needs to go. Physician's Choice 60 Billion Probiotic is made in the USA with a no questions asked 60-day money-back guarantee. Go to Amazon or physicianschoice.com and use the code PCPodcast10 for 10% off your entire order. PCPodcast10 for 10% off. Best results after a month of use, so invest in your gut. Subscribe and save up to 40% off your order. Also find Physician's Choice at all your favorite retailers.
So whether we like it or not, it is officially summer, at least in Texas. So that's why I'm really excited. I have a new dress from Quince. It's the European linen fit and flare midi dress. And I just love how light it feels on my skin, the quality of the fabric. It's going to be an easy breezy summer with the linen options at Quince.
And it's not just clothing. Quince has really become a destination for elevated essentials across home, kitchen, bedding, and beyond, making it easy to bring a more premium feel into everyday life.
Another item that I've been loving lately is in the kitchen and dining section. They're the organic cotton gauze napkins, and they literally feel like a baby blanket against your mouth when you're wiping your face at the end of a meal. They are beautiful. They wash well. I don't have to iron them, and they look perfect on our table. I'm in love with these napkins, and I don't care who knows it.
Elevate your summer wardrobe. Go to quince.com/unforgotten for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/unforgotten for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/unforgotten.
Another lead the police had early on was a possible vehicle associated with the perpetrator. The church parking lot security footage showed a silver Nissan Altima sitting in the parking lot not long before the murder took place. Now, the car wasn't actually there at the time of the murder, but nevertheless, it was suspicious for a car to be there at all at that time of day. Renee told me someone even reported seeing the car to police before even knowing about the tragedy that had occurred.
And he was just like, I just thought it was weird because it was sitting in the parking lot at 4 a.m. and you don't typically see people sitting in parking lots at 4 a.m. It's just not normal. So I guess he went up there and talked to the police department several times. They were really interested in it. And then later, I guess he reached out to them and they were just like, oh, it wasn't involved. Never mind. That's very interesting because they've been looking for that person that drove that car forever. So if they told him in 2016 they weren't interested in it, well, that's not even true because they've been asking to just speak to the driver for all these years. So I don't really understand what that was about.
It's still not clear whether or not the Nissan Altima is tied to the perpetrator in any way. But this pattern of the police saying one thing and doing another kept up. But to be fair, this was not an experienced homicide team. Missy's was the first homicide case in Midlothian in 7 years, meaning this was a first for many on the team. That's important to keep in mind. These suspicious strategies could just be a result of lack of experience. But the slip-ups just kept on coming.
When they first did it, they put out 8 seconds of video, and it was just like a piece.
Renee is referring to when the MPD first put out the footage from the church surveillance cameras. The video of the perp roaming the halls.
And then they put 20 seconds of video. And then they put together, I think, 2 minutes and 20 seconds of video. And so at the end of it, there's like a little scrolling thing, if you have any information about this crime, blah, 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 blah.
Years later, when Crystal and Renee had their podcast up and running, they decided to do an episode critically analyzing the footage, frame by frame.
We did like a, where the video's playing and then we're stopping it and we're like, see right there, blah, 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 or see right there, blah, blah, blah.
Like Renee mentioned at the end of the video, there's a call out for a tip line. This tip line was for Crime Stoppers, a nonprofit that allows people to submit anonymous tips. This can be really helpful for people who may not feel comfortable going to the police directly. Renee is actually the co-chair for the Crime Stoppers of Ellis County.
I know the phone number by heart. And I look at the number and I go, while we're recording, I go, wait a minute. Stop that. That number's wrong.
And remember, the video had been up for years at this point.
I reach out to Crime Stoppers, and I'm like, hey, has this ever been the Crime Stoppers number? And she's like, no. So she texts some people, never been the number. So all these years, the police department's YouTube, with the whole thing, with the person walking around the church, telling people to call Crime Stoppers if you have any information, is the wrong freaking number. That's an issue if you have the wrong phone number for Crime Stoppers for a brutal crime that happened in Ellis County and you're trying to get tips and you got the wrong number. That's a problem.
I asked Renee what the police said about this once they were notified.
They said that they don't have access to the YouTube. Somebody that used to work there did it and they don't have access. And I said, let me get this straight. Midlothian Police Department gave somebody the ability to make a YouTube video, but they don't have access to it. That doesn't even make any sense. But if you wanted to solve the crime, don't you want to redo it?
Yeah, at the very least, take that one down and post a new one, at the very least.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this has like 500,000-600,000 views. And the wrong numbers on there.
And it's still up.
Oh, yeah. Go look at it.
She was right. The footage with the incorrect tip line is still up on YouTube. Many internet sleuths chatter online about how mistakes like this aren't mistakes. They think it's deliberate, corrupt, an attempt to make sure the case is never solved. But even if it is just carelessness, it raises questions about the MPD's competence handling this case. As does what they did on April 24th, less than a week after Missy's murder.
Here's the part I don't and will never understand as long as I live is how he and his wife got on Missy's target list.
Ever wonder who's out there making the world go round? It's truckers. Who unites baristas with coffee beans? Truckers. Who unites dogs with their favorite chew toy? Truckers. That's why Progressive offers truckers even more protection with Cargo Plus coverage to keep truckers moving right along. Quote truck insurance today in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms, limits, and conditions. Not yet available in California, New York, and Virginia.
You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you might not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.
The target list. This is what those who follow Missy's case call the April 24th search warrant that requested the phone data of a select group of people. Mostly family, Brandon's father, but also some shocking people. People the public certainly did not have their eye on prior to the release of this list. For one, AJ Tucker and his wife, Courtney Tucker.
He was in Camp Gladiator as a trainer and had just started.
Missy and AJ were both instructors for Camp Gladiator, the fitness program Missy was coaching at Creekside. The weekend before she died, they had a training in Austin. Both AJ and Missy attended the training.
There was a strong rumor that Missy and AJ had an affair. He denies it vehemently. We've talked to him several times over the years. He says absolutely not. I don't know where that came from.
When the police first seized Missy's electronics, they cited finding text messages between AJ and Missy, hence the search warrants. We don't know what was in those messages, but many people believe it had to be something fishy for AJ to end up on that list. AJ was on the True Crime Broads podcast not once, but twice. Here's a clip from his second appearance.
My class was about 5 miles down the road from Missy's class, and we started at the exact same time. And so I did my first class, everything is going good. The second class, that's when it started to get a little weird.
AJ's first day teaching his own Camp Gladiator class was April 16th.
As I'm teaching the class, my phone was dinging. I kind of noticed, but I'm like, I'm just going to keep teaching class. And then one of my longtime clients, she burst into the class and she looks distressed. And she's like, oh my God, you're okay. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she was like, oh, somebody, I just heard on the radio or the news that a Camp Gladiator trainer in Midlothian was murdered. And so, I looked at her and I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm kind of laughing it off. I'm like, man, that was a hoax. That's not true. And so as I was teaching, my phone just kept dinging. And then I looked at my phone and that's when I found out.
During the episode, Crystal inquires about his and his wife's relationship with Missy.
Now, did you guys know Missy? I mean, did you guys all go out and have drinks or dinner, or was your relationship with Missy a little standoffish? Did your wife and Missy know one another?
No, they did not know each other. I knew her because whenever she first started training, I did meet her, and I believe her daughters, either one or two of her daughters came out to one of my classes.
AJ had done a bunch of different things before starting with Camp Gladiator. For one, he taught and still teaches self-defense classes, raising red flags to some people who think he could have had access to the tactical gear Missy's killer was wearing in the video. He also used to teach a girls' conditioning class over the summer. Missy had seen the girls' class and was intrigued, considering she had 3 daughters of her own.
She was training right across the street from where I was doing the class.
Right.
And that's basically how I met initially with her.
Oh, that's neat. Yeah. They're the daughters. That makes sense.
So, according to AJ, he and Missy didn't really know each other well. They were acquaintances and crossed paths in the fitness community, but that was it. Crystal pushes a little further out of what I think is genuine curiosity. Does AJ have any idea how he and his wife ended up on that list?
We had heard from you before and other people that your wife and Missy didn't know each other, but We were just so confused about why her name came up on the target list as being on the search warrant in her phone.
Crystal throws AJ a lifeline here. She's done some mental math on a non-nefarious reason that he or his wife could have ended up in Missy's phone.
And I always used to say when people would ask that, I would say probably AJ and Missy work together. And this has happened in my family so many times. My husband will be at a conference or something. He will text me from somebody else's phone. He'll say, hey, my phone is about to die. This is me, from this random phone number.
Right.
And I just want to let you know that I'll charge it when I get back to the hotel, that everything's cool, I'm alive, So I was thinking maybe something like that happened. Like, we don't understand that search warrant because there's no reason why your wife and Missy would have been communicating.
I don't understand it.
Yeah,
like,
that is
I don't
weird.
understand.
And I had to bring it up because we get so many questions about that. So that's the only reason we're going there. Is just like, that is so bizarre.
I appreciate this about Crystal and Renee. They really are not out to get anybody, and they want to give everyone a platform to clear their name.
Well, I've always asked, if somebody could tell me the origins, because it had to come from somewhere, right? Like somebody somewhere had to bring it up. And so I'm just like, how did it start? That is another mystery to me. Like, because there's always normally a source where somebody will come out and say, yeah, I know this person and, I saw them hanging out or this and that. But it was almost like the story was there. And I was just like, huh? Like what?
AJ sticks to his guns. He didn't have really even a friendly relationship with Missy, let alone romantic. He's just as clueless as the public about how he became a target.
If we were like you said, if our families knew each other and we kind of hung out or we've all been to like some type of event together or whatever, then it would make more sense. Or if me and her hung out, like if I worked closely with her or something like that, then I will understand like the questioning and stuff, but it came out of nowhere. And I'm still trying to figure out to this day. If you look at the phone records or whatever, you won't see any calls. And I don't have any burner phones or anything like that. But, but you don't see, like a bunch of calls between us or us in the same location or anything like that.
I talked with Crystal about what she thinks the police's theory was here.
The theory was that Courtney had dressed up in all that garb and gone over there and killed Missy because she was upset about AJ.
But this didn't hold up to her. The logistics just didn't make sense.
She had a baby and 3 young children, and she doesn't seem like the type of person that would leave them because they live in Mansfield. That's not super close to Midlothian. That'd be like at least a 20-minute drive, probably longer in that pounding rain. Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to picture her jumping out of bed and doing that and leaving a 9-month-old and then a toddler, a preschooler, and then like a grade schooler.
This is a good point. If AJ was teaching a class at the same time as Missy, he would have been out of the house at around the same time of the murder. Or at least awake, noticing his wife was gone. So if AJ was gone, how would Courtney escape the house full of her young children to go murder her husband's alleged mistress and get away unscathed? It just didn't seem strong.
It's compelling, but you have to make a lot of assumptions. You have to assume they were having an affair. You have to assume Courtney found out and was upset. You have to assume that she found some way to leave her kids. I don't know.
I reached out to both AJ and Courtney. Neither of them got back to me.
I would say Courtney Tucker is still part of the rumor mill.
This is definitely true. In the Facebook groups, everyone refers to people involved in the case by their initials. And if you search CT in the group, hundreds, maybe even thousands of posts will pop up. But luckily for the Tucker family, the heat was about to come off of them and onto RB, Randy Beavers, Brandon Beavers' father.
So you've got a Beavers, same spelling, coming in here with a shirt with blood all over it. She calls the police.
On the next episode of The Unforgotten, who killed Missy Beavers?
A lot of questions been swirling through this afternoon. That blood, could it be tied to the murder of Missy Beavers?
The Unforgotten is a free-range production. Season 6, Who Killed Missy Beavers, is written and hosted by me, Zoe Colkin. Our executive producer is Wes Ferguson. Audio editing by Aislinn Gaddis. Engineering and sound design by Austin Sisler with Eastside Studios. Get our newsletter at unforgottenpod.com. Thanks for listening.
As a small business owner, sometimes it feels like no matter how much planning you do, there's always surprises, like an urgent, expensive repair. But here's a surprise you will like. With Progressive, small business owners save 13% on their commercial auto insurance when they pay in full. So enjoy a surprise for once. Get a quote in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why customers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.